Now, in relationships, this one gets messy because emotions are involved, and emotions are very powerful things. Love is very powerful. Usually, again, in my opinion, the abused individual is far more in love, or the only one in love in these relationships. Because usually an abuser, well, usually people like this hate themselves, but the only person they're even potentially capable of loving is themselves. And this is where the slippery slope comes in, because usually it starts with jokes. It starts with people saying, haha, you're fat. And you're not, let's say. Or, you're stupid. You're dumb. You're such a klutz. Now, sometimes it's humor. It's meant as humor. And if you're in a loving relationship and y'all joke around, which you should because it's fun, it's one thing. But if you're at the stage that you're noticing harassment and abuse from a loved one, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, well, whatever, you got to put a stop to it. You got to walk away. You got to draw that line in the sand. The same thing I've always been saying: stop. You're not allowed to treat me this way. I'm not going to accept this. You're not going to speak down to me. No. And you might have to leave. The relationship might have to come to an end. The friendships might have to come to an end. And that's hard because a lot of times people find themselves, in my experience, this is personal experience with associates of mine, friends of mine, that they have found themselves in a position that they're not financially able to walk out. They don't have control of the finances, even their own paychecks anymore. It's all going to somebody else's, and they have no access to that account because he or she is the smarter individual of the two of you, and therefore they should be making all the financial decisions. They have a car. You don't have one. If you have one, it's so you can go to work and back, or to the store and back, and you've got to ask permission to use it. Or if you don't have to ask permission, you can't just leave with it because they'll just report it stolen. It's a complicated issue, and I don't have all the answers. I just have kind of an end result thing. End result. Look at this. Excuse me. You either wallow in the abuse and you accept it, which to me is unacceptable, or you find a way to fix it, to address it. That can be very scary, especially if your partner is more prone to violence than you are, more prone to aggression than you are. And usually by the time that you're fed up with it, you're so far down that rabbit hole, you can't even see daylight anymore. So what do? Well, what I would recommend you do, again, my opinion, if you can, squirrel money away. Somewhere. Open a bank account privately. Hide it wherever you can till you get $100, $200. Then open an account. And every chance you get that you can funnel money to that without it being detected, you funnel money to it till you have enough to get the F out. If it's really a bad situation, you need to get the cops involved. And you need to go to a women's shelter. Call one of the hotlines. There's many avenues to find much greater information on this than what I can provide you. There's domestic abuse hotlines and groups and shelters and places that will take you and your children if you have those. For men, it's not so easy. A lot of men are abused. A lot of men are abused by their wives, both physically as well as financially and emotionally. And it's not as easy for a guy because no one takes that seriously. You're getting beat up by a 100-pound girl. It happens. You know, we're trained, most of us, at least in my age group, and actually almost every man I really know, you don't hit a woman, ever, any reason. So she's beating the crap out of you, and you know if you lay a hand on her, the first thing she's going to do is call the cops. They're going to come and you're going to jail. Doesn't matter that you're torn up, you're gone. She's going to say you hit her first, and she reacted in self-defense. I had a cop tell me that they whoever makes the phone call is the one that they believe. They take the other one to prison or to jail, whatever, if someone has to go to jail. I don't know if that's valid across the board, but that's what this one officer told me. Problem with it as a guy is, you know, more than likely a couple alpha male type dudes are going to show up and they're going to look at you like you're a punk. They're going to judge you. The truth is they don't. They really don't. They just see it as a situation to deal with. But that's what the guy thinks is going to happen. They're going to be humiliated and emasculated, even if nothing is said, or even if there's no body language to indicate that. They'll interpret anything that way because they're already so beat down. So this is what I suggest you do is if you're a guy. If you're a dude and you're getting your ass kicked by your woman or your significant other, male or female, you leave at the first available opportunity. I'm not doing that. I'm out. Because the end result for all of this, when you're in a toxic situation, a toxic relationship, wherever it is, no one can treat you any way other than you allow them to treat you. I don't know if I said this earlier or not, but I'm going to repeat myself. No one can treat you any way other than what you allow. So if someone treats you in a way that you don't like, and you see it, that first time you nip it in the bud. You say no. Stop. That's not acceptable. That might work with your friends. That might work with your exes. That might work with the scum you've dated before. But that's not going to work with me. We're not doing that. Know your value. You got to love yourself. You've got to take care of yourself. You know, there's the old phrase, charity starts at home. Well, it's the same thing with love. If you don't actually love who you are, then you're not in any position to love anybody else. And nobody's love is going to fix you either. And that's the problem. We're all, as humans, we're pack animals. We're meant to be in groups. We're meant to partner up. We're meant to have love. We like intimacy. We like friendship. And for some of us, that's hard to achieve. And so you'll accept almost anything to have it. You gotta find a way to nix that from your behavior, from your psyche. You gotta find a way to recognize that there's only you, there's only one of you, and that makes you special. And you don't have to tolerate this nonsense. It means making hard decisions. It means leaving friends behind or leaving a loved one, breaking it off. A, a lack of intimacy, a lack of companionship, a lack of friendship. It can mean changing jobs or being alone. It can be hard. I'm not saying any of this is easy. I know it's difficult. But yeah, I'm really hitting on a lot of the harder points. Some of it's just someone makes you uncomfortable. You don't have to be your time, your energy, your love, your effort, your finances are owed to no one. You don't owe an explanation. You don't owe reasons. Now, the last one, reasons, you kind of do, but not in context of what we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You're married, long time relationship, whatever it is, family, work. Yeah, why'd you show up late? You owe a reason. But that's not the context of what we're talking about here. I don't want any confusion on this. No one is entitled to anything that you produce, including your time. Those are gifts that you give. I'm allowing you into my life. In return, you have to give back. Treat me right. Respect me. Worry about my needs, and I'll worry about yours. Yeah, like I said, this is just something that came up the other day with a friend, and I was concerned about them. And they're kind of going through this situation right now. Well, an associate. You don't, and they don't, have to tolerate it. I would caution, if you have a personal computer at home or you use it to Google or whatever on your cell phones, don't go for help there. Abusers usually aren't just abusers, they're manipulators. And manipulators are very savvy individuals. So you'll go to bed, or you'll be in the kitchen, or you'll be wherever, outside. They're going to pull up your search history and see what you're looking for. If they see domestic abuse hotline or women's shelters, it's going to spark. And shit's going to go down. Do it from the library. Libraries all have public terminals that you can use. Use a friend's phone, someone you trust. Use your work phone. Just don't leave a trail, is all I'm saying. Be careful. I'm in Texas, so I'm going to tell you this. Get a gun if you need to after you're out, so you can protect yourself if you've got a crazy. You know, the stalker type, the I can't let you go type. I recommended it in another video, and I recommend this for everyone across the board. Get into martial arts. I highly recommend jiu-jitsu. Highly recommend jiu-jitsu. Even if you're not in any of these situations, like me, if everything's great as far as this stuff is concerned, train. Learn to fight. You don't ever want to have to use violence. You don't ever want to have to use a gun. You don't ever have to hit anybody or choke somebody out. I mean, that should always be a last resort. A last resort. That just doesn't sound right. But yes, it's the last option. But as soon as somebody touches you in a violent manner or in an inappropriate manner, I mean, look at the laws in your state, figure out what the deal is with that. But I think it's almost pretty much universal. You have a right to self-defense. I'm not saying kill anybody. I'm saying defend yourself. Protect yourself. Yeah, I mean, because the thing is no matter what you think of yourself right now, no matter how low you are, how difficult your climb is ahead of you, you're special and you're important. There's only one of you. And even if you don't see that, or can't see that, and you don't find anything special about you, anything that you can bring to the table, well, that's mostly because they've pulled a curtain over all of those things. Again, usually abusers are fantastic manipulators. So just take it on my word alone, if nothing else. I love you. I know you're special. I know you have something to offer to this world. So whether it's just you're kind of being bullied, or it's just inappropriate jokes that make you uncomfortable, or something far more serious, you can put an end to it. It all comes with consequence. I'm not going to lie to you. Like I said earlier, you could be fired and have to take legal actions. You could get an ass kicking. You could lose friends, family, loved ones, a relationship. There's a price tag for loving yourself. But you get out, you get the mental help you need, you train, you take concrete steps to improve, and you take control over your life and begin to love yourself again, and you'll see your value again. Then you will have the coping tools you need to deal with your past because you've seen a therapist. You will have the physical tools to make sure that it doesn't happen to you again. And you'll love yourself, so you will have love to give, and because you love yourself, you will recognize when someone's trying to take advantage of that, when someone's trying to abuse that, and you will have the strength of will at this stage to stop it. Because it's a slippery slope. It's a pebble rolling downhill that turns into an avalanche. They start small. It's always small. No one walks into the first date and just gets their ass kicked. Not usually, unless they get hooked up with a psychopath somehow. It's small. They're charming. They're caring. They're very attentive. They're very loyal. It's everything you could imagine. And then very slowly, over time, they whittle. Until you wake up and you don't know who you are anymore. Where's that confident person? Where's that successful person? Where's that independent person? They just, like waves against a rock, just erode it away until it's just gone. But if this is resonating with you, excuse me while I adjust because I'm uncomfortable, then there's still something left of the old you. There's still a piece of you, and they're fighting. And you can fight. You should fight. I'm just going to end with this. Again, it's repeating myself, but no one's entitled to anything from you. Everything's a trade-off in life. You go to work because they pay you money. That's the agreement. You'll do this set of actions, this job description, and in turn I'll compensate you for at this amount of money, and you come to an agreement on that. If you can't, then you don't work for them, or they don't hire you, whatever it is. Friendship is the same way. I'm there for you, I help you, I care about you, and in return you do that for me. And love is the same way. I love you. Your well-being is one of my top priorities, if not your top priority. And my well-being should be your top priority. That there's always a trade that goes down. My mother always said relationships are a two-way street. Yeah, sometimes you have to go their way. You have to sacrifice. You have to make efforts. You have to do things you don't necessarily want to do, but you know it's going to make them happy. As long as that you get to go your way too sometimes. Preferably 50-50. In the perfect world, that's what would happen, but sometimes we find ourselves on a one-way street, and you're doing all the sacrificing, you're taking all the pain, you're the only one that's faithful, you're the one doing the work and not getting paid. And when that happens, you can either just continue down that road, or you stand up and say no. Not anymore. So, you're unique and you're special, and that is true. There'll never be another one of you. And this might be more true than any of the other times I've said it in my videos. Even if nobody else loves you, I love you. I want good things for you. I want you to be happy, safe, and successful in this life. And you should be, and you should strive to be, because that's only one chance. You only get one chance here. When you're dead, it's over. And spending it miserable, sad, and taken for granted, there's no way to live it. Anyway, I'm signing off. Remember, I love you, even if nobody else does.